Welcome everyone, this is Raj, and most of you would have heard of this key term, but you may not be quite clear about with respect to what is an object-oriented programming concept. So let us talk about that in detail. Now the first thing that we need to understand before we talk about object-oriented programming is what exactly is an object. An object is basically a collection of data which is considered to be state and methods or behaviors in case of Java that act on the state. Now to put it in a very simple term, everything that you see all around you is an object because it has a certain amount of data and there are certain amount of behavior as it does. Let us take an example for ourselves. So we have a certain state, we have a name, we have our height, we have weight. So these are basically what mean by our state. And we also have a behavior, we talk, we walk, we run, we sleep, and these are some of the behaviors. So in terms of object programming, anything that has these properties, that is, it has state and behavior, can be called as an object. Now here you can see the example of a phone that has been taken. Now every phone has a specific size, it has a color, it has shape, as well as it has certain behaviors like turning it on, making calls, sending messages, WhatsApp, YouTube, internet management, Facebook, etc. So these all are methods of behavior are working around that. So I hope you all have got a simple understanding about what an object is. Again, an object is anything that has some state and behavior. So basically everything can be considered to be an object. But when we talk about an object, you also need to understand what exactly is a class. Okay, so now a class basically is a blueprint from which objects are created. If you look at us, we are basically objects that belong to human class. So in human class, there would have been defined number of eyes everyone has, number of noses, number of hands, number of legs. So these are the certain common things that all humans have. On an individual basis, when you look at an object, we are slightly different from each other. But again, there are lots of common things which are present in human class. Similarly, if you look at the example here as well, we are talking about the phone class. Now every phone is gonna have a brand value, it's gonna have a battery power value, it's gonna have a camera value, even have a processor value that we are going to be use it. So finally all the classes are telling us that all the objects would have these corresponding states and each of them will have a common behavior as well. Now every phone is gonna turn on, every phone is gonna have a method or function that is help you to make a call. A method that helps you to send a message, but how they work may be slightly different. But yes, they do have these methods or functions. So all these methods can be defined in the class, which basically tells how the blueprint of an object is going to be used. So I think you are clear about classes and objects and their relationship with each other. Okay, so here I have a question for you. Okay, can we have an object that does not belong to a class? Is this possible? Okay, to be very frank, no, we cannot have like this. But to help you understand better, we use objects to help us achieve a certain behavior or to have a certain idea of its states. So having an object that doesn't belong to a class becomes problematic because there is no generalization or an idea as it to what that an object can do. So I think it's clear to you. Okay, so moving forward, let's talk about the 4 pillars or core fundamentals concept of object-oriented programming. Starting from inheritance. So what do you mean by inheritance? So basically inheritance is a mechanism through which you can acquire the properties and the behavior of a parent object. Now let's take an example of a phone present you have. So suppose I have a simple class is called as phone or mobile. Now in this class there will be specific methods defined and there will be specific values. Now when I have child classes, in this case I have an Apple phone, I have Samsung phone, I have a OnePlus phone. They may have slightly different respective to each other, but they always have all the priorities present in the mobile class. Apart from having these priorities of mobile class, they also may have some specific unique priorities as well. But yes, they always inherit some properties and behavior from our parent class. So your parent's class is called as superclass, and the class which is inheriting these properties is called as child class. So I think you are clear to respect with the inheritance. So basically it's quite similar to your actual inheritance where you get something from your parents who have got that something from your grandparents and so forth. Now these things are basically common to you, but apart from these things you will also have some additional things. That's how inheritance works. Now moving forward, the next concept or pillar of OOPS is we have encapsulation. Now by encapsulation, what we means basically it is a mechanism through which you gonna bind both your code and data. It manipulates together into a bundle. Now what do you means by this is that I am going to combine my variables and my methods and hide it from the others. Only above object of the class can we go ahead and modify the data corresponding to that class. But if any other object tries to do this, it cannot be able to access or modify data directly. To give you a simple example, let us look at this example. Now I have a phone which has a fingerprint scanner. Now unless and until I either press the fingerprint scanner or enter the password, I won't be able to open that phone and make them require modification or changes. This is same thing that happens here. If anyone else tries to access it or modify it, he or she won't be able to do that because he or she won't have the authorization. Same thing happens with our code as well. Only a method of our class can go ahead and modifies the variable values. No other objects or methods from a different class can come and modifies this. And this can be possible only through encapsulation. So I think you are now clear about encapsulation. Okay, now the next concept with respect to object programming is we have polymorphism. Now what do you mean by polymorphism is that it is the ability for a variable or a function or even object to take multiple roles apart from its user to it. And I don't think there's a better example apart from this example that I'm going to show you. The mobile phone that we use today, it has been replaced with the cameras, remotes, MP3 players, DVD players. It has almost to an extent even replaced to users with laptop and computers as well. People are now more convenient to working with their mobiles. Your single entity, that is your mobile, is now taking up different forms here. It acting as camera, it acting as workstation, it acting as MP3 player, it acting as a DVD video player, the phone which has an IR blaster that becomes as a remote and so forth. So this is your polymorphism concept. I hope you have clear about this concept. Okay, now finally comes object programming last player, that is abstraction. Now abstraction is very simple and straightforward process, and it is basically means you are going to hide the implementation details from the user and only provide the functionality. So let us see this example. Now if you look at this, you can see this phone is getting a call from James Brown, and we know that because there is a notification that comes on the screen that says there is a call from a James and this number. Now do you either want to pick or to want to hang up? But do any of us actually know that what is the code or what is the program which is running behind and is managing the call? Absolutely not. So that basically is how you are hiding the implementation details from the user. But at the same time you are providing the functionality to the user to use it or not. So if I swipe right or swipe left, there would have been a specific code that would be written and that would get executed. So what that code is not something that I need to worry about that. All I need to know, I can use this functionality to achieve this. Got it? So if you have any doubt with respect to these 4 object-oriented concepts, you can ask in comment section. Hope you have the great learning. Please subscribe this channel and press the bell icon to get the latest updates. Thank you.